Hello everyone, my name is Cherie. Welcome to my video review of the Parasite screenplay. Parasite screenplay is 141 pages long, while the actual runtime of the movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes. Set in South Korea, Parasite tells the story of a poor family that cons their way into a wealthy family's life and the tragic aftermath of that con. I will be analyzing the screenplay for Parasite using the classic hero's journey structure. For more information on the hero's journey, I recommend The Writer's Journey, Mythic Structure for Writers by Christopher Vogler. The hero's journey contains 12 stages: the ordinary world, call to adventure, refusal of the call, meeting the mentor, crossing the threshold, test allies and enemies, approach to the innermost cave, the ordeal, reward, the road back, resurrection, and return with the elixir. Although Parasite is an ensemble piece, in my analysis the hero will be Ki-woo, the son of the poor Kim family. And apologies in advance for my horrid pronunciation of Korean names. The story opens in the ordinary world of the Kim family. A mother, father, daughter, and son. They are poor, hungry, working low-wage jobs, living in a semi-basement apartment, and dreaming of a better life. Min-hyuk, a college student who is also Ki-woo's friend, visits the Kim family early in Act 1. Ki-woo looks up to Min-hyuk, who drives a fancy foreign scooter and carries himself with confidence. At one point in the story, Ki-woo asks, "What would Min-hyuk do?" Min-hyuk is the mentor character. Mentors usually present the hero with a gift that the hero puts to good use later on. Min-hyuk has two gifts. The first is a viewing stone, which he presents to the entire family. In Asian cultures, viewing stones are meant to bring wealth. They are also known as scholar stones. The stone is introduced on page 9 and makes a reappearance 9 more times throughout the screenplay. The second gift is also the call to adventure. Min-hyuk plans to leave on a study abroad program and asks Ki-woo to take his place as Park Da-hae's English tutor. Da-hae is the teenage daughter of one of the city's wealthiest families. The hero often has personal doubts or second thoughts about accepting the call to adventure, and this results in a refusal of the call. Ki-woo's first response is that Min-hyuk's offer makes no sense. He continues, "You have plenty of friends at school. Why do you want a high school grad to teach your prized student? And also, you think the family would accept me? I'm not even a college student." So Min-hyuk has to convince Ki-woo to take the position. He reminds Ki-woo that he knows the college entrance exam, having taken it 4 times. Grammar, vocabulary, composition, speaking, you're an English master, far more qualified as a tutor than I am. After his sister Ki-jung creates a fake college certificate for him, Ki-woo begins his journey into the new world. It is an upward journey. He walks up, up, and up until he reaches the Park family mansion. There, Ki-woo literally crosses the threshold and enters the mansion. For those of you familiar with Save the Cat, this section is also referred to as the Fun and Games section. This is where the hero gains allies and meets enemies and faces obstacles which he must overcome. This is the stage where the hero's skills are tested. Allies. Ki-woo's allies are his family. His sister Ki-jung, his mother Chung-suk, and his father Ki-taek. After successfully conning his way into the Park's life as Mr. Kevin, the English tutor, Ki-woo devises a plan to get each of his family members a different position in the Park household. First, Ki-woo recommends his sister, who assumes the identity of Miss Jessica, an art therapist, to help the Park's troubled young son. Next, Ki-jung frames the driver Yoon into getting fired so Ki-taek, posing as Miss Jessica's uncle's driver, can take his place. And finally, Ki-woo uses his knowledge of housekeeper Mun Kwang's peach allergy to make it appear as if she has tuberculosis. When Mun Kwang is let go, Chung-suk takes over the position at the recommendation of their new driver, Mr. Kim. Enemies. The first hint of trouble comes at page 58, when the Park's son, Da-song, notices that the new art teacher, chauffeur, and housekeeper all smell the same. Although Mr. and Mrs. Park don't seem like enemies initially, the Kims eventually hear them insulting Ki-taek for his odor and Ki-jung for her fashion choices. Mun Kwang, the Park's former housekeeper, and her husband, Kun-se, are the Kims' most formidable opponents. The rainstorm turns into an adversary as well, and Junie, one of the Park's 3 dogs, nearly exposes Ki-woo hiding under Da-hae's bed. Tests. The first test is when Park Yeon-kyo meets Ki-woo. She insists that he needs to be as utterly outstanding as Min-hyuk and asks to sit in on the first lesson so she can judge his methods. Of course, he passes with flying colors. After this, the fun and games kick into high gear as the Kims invade the Park's house. There are more tests to come, but not until the halfway mark. The fun and games conclude with the Kim family drinking and lounging around the Park's living room, watching the rain fall outside while the Parks are away on a camping trip. In Sid Field's textbook Screenplay, the author describes a script's midpoint. An important scene in the middle of the script, often a reversal of fortune or revelation that changes the direction of the story. So what's the midpoint of Parasite? Page 71. The doorbell rings loudly throughout the house. The doorbell symbolizes an alarm, warning that everything is about to change. This is the midpoint reversal, where the Kim family's plan starts to unravel and their world turns completely upside down. Who's ringing the doorbell? That would be Mun Kwang, the former housekeeper. She begs the new housekeeper to let her in so she can pick up something that she left behind. Although the innermost cave can be metaphorical, in the hero's journey it is usually an actual location, a dangerous place, often deep underground. After the rest of the Kim family hides, Chung-suk lets Mun Kwang inside. Mun Kwang flashes a creepy grin as she points to the stairs descending into the dark storage basement. Mun Kwang rolls aside a cabinet stacked with glass jars, revealing a dark steel door hidden behind it. Chung-suk follows Mun Kwang through the door and down a dark staircase. They reach the sub-basement, a secret underground bunker. This is where Kun-se, Mun Kwang's husband, has been hiding for 4 years, 3 months, and 17 days. And you thought this COVID-19 shelter-in-place order was rough. At this point, the hero experiences a major obstacle. The stakes increase. After following the 2 women in order to eavesdrop, the Kim family falls into the sub-basement. Ki-woo accidentally calls Ki-taek Dad, and their secret is out. Mun Kwang has recorded the entire family exchange on her cell phone and threatens to send the video to the Parks. She herds them upstairs and holds them hostage. When Mun Kwang lets down her guard, the Kim family attacks and Ki-woo seizes the cell phone, preventing the video from being seen by the Parks. At this point in the story, some of the hero's journey steps are repeated. Yeon-kyo calls to say the Park family is returning home because the campsite was rained out. The ETA is 8 minutes. The Kims spring into action. Ki-woo and his father drag the housekeeper and her husband back to the hidden basement. Ki-jung cleans the mess from the living room floor. Chung-suk focuses on cooking the meal requested by the Parks, and Ki-woo returns Da-hae's secret journal, which he had been reading. When the Parks arrive home, Chung-suk sees Mun Kwang escaping from the basement. Chung-suk kicks her in the face, causing her to fall back into the bunker and hit her head against the concrete. Ki-woo hides with his father and sister under the coffee table in the living room. After many agonizing hours under the coffee table, The Kims finally escape from the mansion when the Parks fall asleep. The road back is a reverse echo of the call to adventure in which the hero had to cross the first threshold. Now he must return home. Ki-taek, Ki-woo, and Ki-jung sneak out of the mansion into the pouring rain. They make their way back to their apartment, only to find everything completely flooded. Knee-deep water, sewage backflows, total pandemonium. While packing some essentials into a bag, Ki-woo finds the viewing stone in the water. It's like he just found a precious treasure. Over the image of the stone, veiled by the hazy, undulating water, dark music begins to play. This is the climax in which the hero must have his final and most dangerous encounter with death. It's where everything the hero holds dear is put on the line. If he fails, he will either die or life as he knows it will never be the same again. The garden party. Mr. Kevin and Miss Jessica are invited to a surprise birthday party for Da-song. Mr. Kim and Chung-suk are enlisted to help. Once the party is in full swing, Ki-woo sneaks down to the bunker with the viewing stone. There he finds Mun-kwang unconscious. He raises the stone, intent on killing her once and for all, but stops. He can't do it. Finally, very late in the screenplay, Ki-woo is a hero to root for. But his penitence comes too late. Kun-se sneaks up behind Ki-woo and wraps a noose around his neck. They struggle, and Ki-woo barely escapes back up the stairs, the cord still dangling from his neck. Kun-se grabs the cord, and Ki-woo falls hard on the floor. Kun-se slams the viewing stone into Ki-woo's head. Not once, but twice. He leaves Ki-woo for dead, turning his attention now to the garden party. Kun-se takes a kitchen knife and stabs Ki-jung. Da-song recognizes Kun-se as a ghost from his past and has a seizure. Kun-se and Chung-suk fight. She stabs him with a metal barbecue skewer. Dong-ik holds his nose at the smell of Kun-se, triggering Ki-taek. Ki-taek picks up a nearby axe and stabs Dong-ik in the neck. Only through some form of death can the hero be reborn. This resurrection grants him greater power or insight so he can reach his journey's end. 1 month after the ordeal, Ki-woo wakes up from a coma. He and his mother avoid the charges of forgery, home invasion, and voluntary manslaughter, receiving only probation. That winter, Ki-woo climbs a hill and spies on the mansion with a telescope. New residents have moved in, a German family of 4 with a Filipino maid. Ki-woo stays after sundown, then notices the motion sensor lights in the entrance start blinking. He recognizes it as Morse code and writes down the blinking patterns. This is the final stage of the journey. The hero returns home to his ordinary world, a changed man. Ki-woo runs home with the translated letter from his still-living father. He writes a reply letter outlining a plan. It's a long-term plan: to go to college, get a job, get married, and become rich enough to buy the mansion. Then, when Ki-woo moves in, Ki-taek can emerge from the secret bunker, and father and son can be reunited. The movie ends with Ki-woo's voiceover. "But I have a problem, Father. I have no idea how to get this letter to you." Ki-woo's nose is bright red from the cold. His eyes brim with tears. Over black, music plays. Bright, but with an undertone of hopelessness. Parasite is a great script and deserves its Oscar win for the Best Original Screenplay. Now, the reason I had a question mark in the title of this video, Parasite, A Hero's Journey. In a standard hero's journey, ultimately the hero will succeed. He'll destroy his enemy and emerge from battle cleansed and reborn. In this story, our hero does not succeed. Yet. But due to the way the story ends, we don't expect the hero to succeed. Parasite is a tragedy. Now, I briefly want to revisit my original review of the movie, where I said, I don't know what the film's trying to say, I don't know who the hero is, and I don't think Parasite will win the Oscar for Best Picture. Now, obviously that last one was incorrect, but I'll tell you why I thought that. But first, I don't know what the film's trying to say. People say it's about the haves and the have-nots, you know, the rich and the poor. When you're writing a theme in screenwriting, it's a complete idea, a complete sentence. It's not just words. What Bong Joon-Ho was trying to say was that the lower class, the poor people, can't fight each other. They have to work together to fight the injustices of the system, because if they fight each other, it's a losing battle. And who is the hero? In this analysis, I did make it Ki-woo, but you know, in general, Ki-woo is a con artist. He does learn at the end, and he does try to make things better at the very end. But why should we follow him on this journey? The Kims are all con artists. The Parks are all shallow and concerned with Western consumerism and ideals. So yeah, that's still the question. Who's the hero? And the reasons I didn't think it would win Best Picture are it was in a foreign language, it was a tragedy, it went in opposition to the idea of the American dream. But those things didn't matter. It did win Best Picture. And honestly, I'm really happy it did. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you all in the next video.